Let's be real. Pickup trucks are no longer just dusty workhorses crawling out of construction sites. They're turning into high-tech beasts, luxury rides, and speed demons on four wheels. And the future? It's crazier than you think. Some of the trucks coming in 2026 will flip the idea of what a pickup should even be. But which ones are truly worth the hype, and which ones are just noise? Stick around, because the answers may surprise you. 2026 Ram 1500 Ramcharger. Here's a truck that doesn't just blur the line between electric and gas, it rips the line clean out of the ground. The 2026 Ram 1500 Ramcharger isn't a regular hybrid, and it's not your typical EV. Think of it as a super truck with an ace up its sleeve. It's packing dual electric motors for instant torque, but hiding under the hood is also a Pentastar V6 that works as a generator. Translation: you'll never get stranded waiting on a charging station. On paper, the numbers are almost cartoonish. About 663 horsepower, 615 pound-feet of torque, a 0 to 60 time in the muscle car zone, and a jaw-dropping 690 miles of total range when you combine the gas and electric systems. Compare that to most EV trucks, which can barely scrape past 300 miles on a good day. The Ramcharger makes them look like toys. And let's talk looks. Ram didn't cheap out on style. This truck is sleek, futuristic, but still aggressive enough to look at home next to the brawniest heavy-duty haulers. Inside, it's loaded with massive screens, plush seating, and enough tech to make you feel like you're piloting a spaceship rather than a pickup. But here's the kicker. The Ramcharger isn't just about showing off, it's about practicality. Imagine towing a boat across the state without sweating where the next plug-in station is, or heading off-road for days without worrying about range anxiety. That's the kind of peace of mind this truck offers. Some will say it's overkill. Too much power, too much tech. But in an era where truck buyers want it all, strength, smarts, and style, the Ram 1500 Ramcharger is shaping up to be the ultimate one-size-fits-all machine. If 2026 has a crown jewel in the pickup game, this might just be it. 2026 Ram 1500 TRX. If the Ramcharger is the brain, the TRX is the muscle. Back in 2020, the TRX crashed into the truck world like a sledgehammer, shoving 702 horsepower of Hellcat fury into a pickup body. It was ridiculous over the top, and exactly what people didn't know they wanted. By 2026, the legend returns. Bigger, meaner, and with more teeth. Whispers out of Stellantis suggest the new TRX isn't just coming back. It's gunning to push past its old record. We're talking horsepower creeping above the 702 mark, keeping its status as the king of the factory-built off-road beasts. Think wide stance, menacing grille, and suspension tuned to fly over dunes like a desert trophy truck. This isn't a grocery getter, it's a dune jumper, a rock crawler, and a street bully rolled into one. Step inside, and it's not Spartan like old-school performance trucks. The TRX has always mixed brutality with luxury, and the 2026 version is doubling down on that recipe. You'll get leather, premium tech, and every gadget you can imagine, all wrapped in a cabin that looks more fighter jet than farm rig. Of course, the critics will complain. Gas guzzler, too loud, too aggressive. But let's be honest, this truck was never built for subtlety. It's the automotive equivalent of blasting heavy metal at full volume. You don't buy a TRX to save fuel. You buy it because you want the biggest, baddest pickup on the block. And here's the truth. In a world sprinting toward electrification, trucks like the TRX feel like the last wild cards, the final roar of unfiltered horsepower before silence takes over. That alone makes it worth waiting for. When the 2026 Ram TRX hits the streets, don't expect it to just arrive. It's going to announce itself with a growl you'll hear 2 towns over. 2026 GMC Sierra EV. When GMC announced the Sierra A5, A lot of people rolled their eyes. Another electric pickup. Great. But then the details dropped, and suddenly this wasn't just another EV. It was a tech-loaded monster that could make even hardcore gas lovers raise an eyebrow. By 2026, the Sierra EV will be rolling out in full swing, and trust me, it's not playing backup to the Silverado. Picture this: a full-size truck with dual motors that crank out over 750 horsepower in its top trims, paired with insane towing capacity and a ride smoother than most luxury sedans. But here's where it gets wild. The Sierra EV isn't just about brute strength, it's about brains. Super Cruise hands-free driving comes standard, meaning you could literally let the truck drive you across state lines while you sip coffee. And with up to 14 camera views, parking or towing suddenly becomes idiot-proof. The design? GMC didn't cheapen out. It's sleek, almost futuristic, with clean lines and a bold front end that makes it look more like a concept vehicle than a truck you can actually buy. Inside, you're greeted with massive infotainment screens, plush seating, and enough connectivity to make you forget you're in a pickup at all. Some old-school truck fans will scoff. It's too soft, too futuristic, not real enough. But here's the truth. The Sierra EV is redefining what it means to be a working truck. It's not just about hauling gravel anymore. It's about hauling yourself into the future with comfort and swagger. Mark my words. When 2026 hits, the Sierra EV will stand as proof that electric trucks can be both practical and aspirational. Forget waiting on the Silverado's hype train. The Sierra is quietly sneaking in to steal the show. 2026 Rivian R1 T-Quad motor. If the Sierra is the suave tech genius, the Rivian R1 T-Quad motor is the adrenaline junkie. Rivian has already made waves with its electric pickups, but the 2026 quad motor version? That's not just a truck, it's an experiment in how far you can push performance before it gets ridiculous. Let's start with the jaw-dropping stat sheet. 1,025 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. Over 1,000 horses in a pickup. Torque? A monstrous 1,198 pound-feet. And acceleration? Try 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. That's supercar speed in a machine with a bed that can haul your camping gear. But Rivian didn't just throw horsepower at the problem and call it a day. They gave this truck 14.9 inches of ground clearance, off-road technology that makes rock crawling look easy, and software that adjusts in real time to whatever nightmare terrain you throw at it. Mud, sand, snow, or sheer rock faces. Inside, it's clean, minimalist, but smart. Huge screens dominate the dashboard, but Rivian doesn't overload you with clutter. Instead, it feels like a futuristic cockpit built for both adventure and comfort. And with Rivian's clever storage solutions, like the gear tunnel, you're reminded that this truck was designed by people who actually camp, hike, and live outdoors. Now, is it excessive? Absolutely. Nobody needs a 1,000 horsepower pickup, and Rivian knows that. But that's the point. It's a halo product. It's the truck you buy not because you have to, but because you want to be part of the future and still have bragging rights at the campfire. The Rivian R1 T-Quad motor is proof that the EV revolution isn't just about being green, it's about having fun. And in 2026, fun is spelled R-I-V-I-A-N. 2026 Slate Truck by Slate Auto. Let's flip the script for a second. Not every truck of the future needs to cost as much as a small house. Enter the Slate Truck, a wildcard entry backed by Jeff Bezos' camp, and a direct shot at Tesla and Rivian. The Slate Truck isn't flashy, it's not dripping with luxury, and it's not going to destroy your bank account. Starting at just $25,000, this is the people's pickup. And here's the kicker, it's modular. That means you can buy the base truck and then add accessories like Lego pieces. Need a camper setup? Bolt it on. Want a flatbed for work? Swap it in. This DIY plug-and-play vibe makes it one of the most customizable vehicles we've ever seen. Range? You're looking at 150 to 240 miles, depending on which version you buy. Not earth-shattering, sure, but for the price, it's a game changer. And the Slate team is pushing for affordability without skimping on style. The truck's design is boxy, clean, and almost cyberpunk-light, giving it a look that stands out without screaming for attention. Inside, it's minimalist but practical. Don't expect leather seats or crystal knobs. You'll get a cabin that works, that feels functional, and that's designed to take a beating. And honestly, that's refreshing. The Slate truck proves you don't need six figures or a luxury badge to join the EV revolution. It's the scrappy underdog in a world of overbuilt giants. If Slate pulls this off, 2026 could be the year the everyday driver finally gets an electric truck they can actually afford. Ford EV Pickup, 2026 launch prep. You knew Ford couldn't sit this one out. The F-150 Lightning may have been Ford's flashy first step into the EV world, but the real bombshell is what's coming in 2026. A mid-size electric truck that could be priced around $30,000. Yep, you heard that right. Ford's new EV pickup is being built on its universal EV platform, which means it's designed from the ground up to be cheaper, lighter, and smarter. The goal is simple: make an electric truck for the masses. This isn't about dominating the luxury market, it's about dominating your driveway. Expect a design that's practical and approachable. It won't be as huge as the Lightning, but that's the point. It's the truck you buy if you want electric power without parking a tank in your garage. And Ford knows the sweet spot. Affordable, reliable, and just capable enough to handle daily life with occasional hauling or towing. Details on horsepower and range are still under wraps, but whispers point to a 200-plus mile range and smart tech baked in, from driver assists to Ford's latest infotainment systems. But what really sells it is the price tag. A sub-$35,000 electric pickup could flip the entire EV industry upside down. Of course, critics will say it's too little, too late, especially since production may slip into 2027. But let's be real. When Ford aims at middle America with a budget-friendly truck, history shows it usually hits the bullseye. If you want a taste of the electric future without mortgaging your house, Ford's 2026 EV pickup might just be your ticket in. This could be the truck that makes EV ownership as common as owning a smartphone. 2026 Nissan Frontier Pro 4 XR by Roush Nissan's Frontier has always been that dependable, slightly under-the-radar mid-size truck. It's solid, capable, but never quite the flashiest player on the field. Enter Roush, the performance wizards who've spent decades taking Fords to the next level. For 2026, they've turned their attention to the Frontier, and the result is the Pro 4 XR. This isn't just a trim level, it's a transformation. The truck comes with a 2-inch lift, upgraded Öhlins shocks, and custom all-terrain tires that look ready to chew up everything from muddy trails to desert sand. The suspension tuning alone makes it a completely different beast from the stock Frontier, giving it the kind of off-road confidence you'd normally expect from prissier rigs like a Raptor or TRX. But here's where Roush leaves its fingerprints: the styling. The Pro 4 XR wears titanium accents, bold badging, and a more aggressive stance that turns the middle child Frontier into a head-turner. Inside, you'll find Roush-branded touches, custom upholstery, and details that make it feel more like a specialty vehicle than a factory pickup. What's smart here is that Nissan teamed with Roush to deliver this as a direct buy. You don't have to ship your truck off to an aftermarket shop. It comes ready to roll with the warranty intact. That's a big deal for buyers who want something badass without losing peace of mind. The Pro 4 XR proves the Frontier is done being overshadowed. In 2026, it's stepping into the spotlight with a look and feel that could finally lure buyers away from the Ford Ranger and Toyota Tacoma. Sometimes, all a good truck needs is the right partner in crime. And Roush has given the Frontier exactly that. 2026 Ram 2500 HD Express and Warlock Edition's heavy-duty trucks often get a bad rap for being boring. Just giant workhorses built to tow, haul, and little else. But in 2026, Ram is shaking things up with two special editions of its 2500 HD, the Express and the Warlock. These aren't about reinventing the wheel, they're about giving big rigs personality without breaking the bank. The Express edition is all about stealthy value. It's a stripped-back, blacked-out package that ditches unnecessary frills but keeps all the power. You get a mean, murdered-out look at a lower price point, appealing to buyers who want capability without paying for a ton of chrome and luxury add-ons. Think of it as the workhorse dressed in black leather. Clean, tough, and unapologetically functional. Then there's the Warlock. If the name sounds familiar, that's because Ram is digging into its nostalgic adult toys lineup from the 1970s, when wild styling packages like the original Warlock turned trucks into rolling statements. The 2026 Warlock edition carries that spirit forward. Expect gold pinstriping, retro-inspired details, and a bold, distinctive stance that makes it stand out in any parking lot. Both editions pack the same raw capability you expect from a 2500 HD, massive towing, heavy payloads, and durability that could outlast a small asteroid strike. But what makes them exciting is the price point. Ram is aiming these trims squarely at buyers who want a truck that feels special without hitting luxury truck price tags. It's a smart play. The heavy-duty truck world doesn't often get the flash, but in 2026, the Express and Warlock prove you can be both practical and stylish, even in a rig big enough to tow your entire neighborhood. 2026 Ram 1500 Rev. The Ram 1500 REV has been teased, delayed, and hyped almost to death. But make no mistake, when it finally lands in 2026 or shortly after, it could be the truck that defines Ram's electric future. Built on the new STLA frame platform, this all-electric pickup is gunning for both range and power, and it's aiming high. Let's start with the battery. A monstrous 168 kilowatt-hour pack in top trims, offering a targeted range of around 350 miles. That's competitive with the best EVs on the market, but the REV is also packing 800-volt architecture with 350 kilowatt fast charging capability. Translation? Add up to 100 miles of juice in about 10 minutes. For long-haul truck owners, that's a game changer. Performance is no slouch either. Dual-motor all-wheel drive gives the REV the kind of instant torque only EVs can provide, making towing and hauling a whole new experience. Ram has promised serious towing numbers. Think in the 10,000-pound range, and payload capacity that doesn't crumble under the weight of electrification. The design is pure, modern Ram. Bold, muscular lines with a futuristic twist. The interior leans heavy on tech, with massive displays, smart storage, and connectivity options designed for both work and play. This isn't just a truck, it's a rolling tech platform. Yes, delays have frustrated some buyers. But here's the bottom line. When the REV finally arrives, it will have the range, the speed, and the brains to compete with Ford's Lightning and Chevy's Silverado EV. For Ram fans, it's the long-awaited moment when the brand proves it's not just keeping up, it's ready to lead. Alpha Wolf EV Pickup. Sometimes the future comes from the giants, and sometimes it comes from the scrappy underdogs. Meet the Alpha Wolf, a compact EV pickup that still feels more like a concept sketch than something you can buy. But in 2026, Alpha Motor Corporation is aiming to make it real, and if they succeed, it'll be one of the boldest new players in the pickup market. The Wolf is small, stylish, and futuristic, with design cues that look ripped out of a cyberpunk movie. Think boxy proportions, sharp lines, and a stance that screams different. But beneath the style is serious potential. Alpha claims the Wolf will offer all-wheel drive, solid off-road capability, and a range hovering around 250 to 275 miles, plenty for a compact daily driver. Where it really shines, though, is the vibe. This isn't trying to be a luxury truck or a heavy hauler. It's aimed at the younger crowd, the DIYers, and the people who want something unique without paying Rivian or Tesla money. It's bold, unapologetic, and affordable compared to the giants. Inside, it's minimalist and functional. Big screen in the center, clean layout, and just enough comfort to keep it modern. But the appeal is in owning something different. While everyone else rolls up in another Silverado or F-150, you pull up in an Alfa Wolf and instantly stand out. Now Alfa still has to prove they can actually deliver. Startups love to promise the moon, and many crash before takeoff. But if the Wolf makes it to production in 2026, it could spark a new wave of compact EV pickups, and that's worth paying attention to. So there you have it. 10 trucks that prove the pickup game in 2026 is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. From hybrids with muscle car speed to budget EVs built for everyone, the lineup is stacked with innovation, power, and just enough insanity to keep things exciting. Which one do you think deserves the crown? Drop your pick in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the machines shaping our future. The road ahead is wild. Don't blink, or you'll miss it.